In this video, we're going to have a look at what is Pythagoras theory. So Pythagoras theory relates to a right angle triangle and only a right angle triangle. If I have a triangle that is not a right angle, then I cannot use Pythagoras theory. So the first part of looking at Pythagoras is I need to work out what side is my hypotenuse side. Now the hypotenuse side is going to be the longest side of your triangle, and it is the side that is opposite the right angle. So if you've got a right angle triangle and you can identify where your right angle is and you go opposite the right angle, the side opposite the right angle is going to be your hypotenuse side. And in Pythagoras, we label that side C. So the hypotenuse side is always going to be side C. The other two sides of the triangle, we label A and B. Now, it doesn't matter which one is A and which one is B, as long as we're not using A and B to label the hypotenuse. So I can go ahead and call this side label or side A, and go ahead and call the bottom side B. So I've got a right angle triangle, and the three sides are called side A, side B, and side C, with C being my hypotenuse, or the longest side of the triangle. So now let's have a look at what is Pythagoras theory, now that I know my right angle triangle and the three sides. Pythagoras theory relates to the squares on each of the sides of the triangle that I can form based on the length. So in the example, I've got a right angle triangle, and one side is 3, one side is 4, and my hypotenuse side is 5. Now I want to go ahead and label my three sides A, B, and C. So side A, side B, and my hypotenuse side opposite the right angle is side C. Now I know that side A is 4, side B is 3, and side C is 5. Now each of those sides I can draw a square off of the side. So looking at the area of each of those squares, for side A, and where the side is 4, the area is going to equal 4 squared, which is equal to 16. And I can see that I've got 16 squares making up my larger square of a side A. Looking at side B, which is 3, I know the area is going to be equal to 3 squared, and that is going to equal to 9. And doing the same thing for my hypotenuse side, side C, which is equal to 5, I know the area of that is going to be 5 squared, which is equal to 25. So now having a look at my three areas, side A is 16, side B is 9, side C is 25. If I have a look at A and B, so 16 and 9, if I plus them together, I'm going to get my longest side, which is 25. So based on this information, I can say that side A squared plus side B squared is equal to side C squared. And I know that because 4 squared plus 3 squared is equal to 5 squared, or 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. So this forms the basis of Pythagoras theory. So the general rule for Pythagoras theory is A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. We need to remember the C squared is the hypotenuse side, which is also the longest side of the right angle triangle. A and B are going to be the two shorter sides. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, and that is the general rule for Pythagoras theory. Now the general rule works if we want to find the hypotenuse side of the triangle. But what if we want to find one of the other two smaller sides? To do that, we need to rearrange the formula. So we have got a squared by itself. And to rearrange a squared so it's by itself, we have to isolate it on its own and remove b squared. So to remove b squared, we need to do the opposite to what we're doing now. So at the moment we are plussing b squared. So the opposite of plussing b squared is going to be subtract b squared. So if I'm subtracting b squared from the left-hand side, I need to also subtract b squared from the right-hand side. So now that I've subtracted b squared from both sides, my rule is going to become a squared, and I've got nothing left on the left-hand side because I have gotten rid of my b squared. So a squared stays on its own. So a squared is equal to c squared minus b squared. And I can use this rearrange formula if I know my hypotenuse side or my c side and I want to find out a missing smaller side. So a squared is equal to c squared minus b squared. So there are the two main formulas that we use when we're using Pythagoras theory. The general rule of a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, or the rearranged rule of a squared is equal to c squared minus b squared if I want to find one of the shorter sides. So have a look at some of the videos with examples of how to calculate a missing hypotenuse or a missing smaller side and see how those two formulas are used.